Hi there, we're going to have a look at how you can use Google Classroom, the new tool from Google, which I've been using with my classes for about a month or so now, and also how you can now add a Markbook to that Google Classroom by using Doctopus, something that a number of teachers have identified as something lacking in Classroom, that it shares well with your Google Drive, etc. It's a nice interface. Some teachers have been asking for a Markbook to be attached to it. And thanks to Andrew Stillman and his team at New Visions for Public Schools, they've created a way of using Doctopus, a very powerful tool for grading formatively in assessments. So I've got a little assessment here that I set for a class, which was a race commentary based on a distance time graph. So I created the document, which we're about to see now, and assigned it for them for their homework. I also added a little video as well, which kind of set the scene and inspired them to write something really epic. So this is the document. When you assign it in Google Classroom, you can set it so it makes a copy for each student, and that's the way I've set it up. So this is their template document with the distance time graph. A pretty crazy race, as you can see, and their task is to write a commentary for this race, just to see if they can interpret the information from the distance time graph correctly. Now the next step is, you'll see here I've got a little eye in my Omnibox, and what we're going to do is create a rubric to go with this particular task. So as I mark the pieces of work, like this one here, I can, rather than having to just rely on comments, I can refer to my rubric or my formative assessment grid as I go through and mark it. You see I've added a few comments to this document, so I was able to, while the student was doing it elsewhere for homework, I was able to jump in live. This is a folder created by Google Classroom, and this is the rubric I've created for this particular task, the race commentary. And the reason I created a rubric is that in Google Classroom you can grade from 0 to 1, 0 to 20, 50 or 100, but there isn't at the present time a formative way of assessing as Doctopus and Goobric provides, so we're combining the two. Here I've got unacceptable, below expectation, good and above expectation as my gradings, my formative assessment, and I've got 3 categories: effort, literacy and mathematical understanding. So what I'm going to be doing is when I've got the documents open and marking the students' work, I'm refer to those as I go through. So we've got the Google Classroom task all set up and the students are beginning to hand it in. And what we now need to do is start thinking about creating a sheet so we can add Doctopus, and that's what I'm going to do now. I've created that sheet in the folder created by Google Classroom where the student's work is submitted. You don't need to pre-populate this sheet, just a blank sheet will do. And once we've named it, then we can add the Doctopus add-on. It's already there for me, but if you haven't already got it, you can go to Get Add-ons, type in Doctopus, and you can add it for free. So we're now going to launch Doctopus. For regular users of Doctopus, I don't know if you'll have noticed the new Classroom ingest option, but it's hopefully a nice marriage between the two tools. If you've not seen Doctopus before, then you're in for a new experience. It feels a bit techy, but actually once you get into it, it's pretty straightforward. So there we go. We're going to select a roster and you can ingest a Google Classroom. You can pick a particular class and a particular assignment. So here we're going for the race commentary one. What this will do is pick out the students from your class and the particular assignment. You can just have the turned in files, but I'm not going to tick that box, so I'm going to ingest the whole thing. What this will do is populate the spreadsheet with details about your class, links to their work, and at the end spaces for the grading and the feedback to go. And ultimately you can, once you've finished doing the grading, you can email the students with that. So there we go. We've got student names, emails, document links, the status of the document, last edits, and the bit you can't quite see yet to the right hand side is where the grade goes. So you can add a grade and written feedback. And in a moment, once I add my rubric to it using Goobric, then it will add some more columns on the end. So here we go, we're going to attach a Goobric. Goobric is the name of the little bit of, there's the extension that you see in the Omnibox there. You can install that following these instructions, and it's very straightforward. Obviously I've already done that, which means I can select the rubric that I want to use, which is the one we were looking at a bit earlier in the video. So the second one along there is my race commentary rubric. And if you select that one, then it will attach it to those particular assignments. So they're sort of associated. Any assignment will be attached to this particular rubric. And if you scroll down, you just check you got the right one. And that's the one I want. So we'll attach it to the assignment. I'm almost there, ready to grade our assignments and provide some formative feedback. So as you can see, what will happen is that when you click on the little eye in your Omnibox, your rubric will appear overlaying the document you're marking. So if I select one of the students' pieces of work, I can start doing that process now, identifying the areas that they've done well in. The options on the right allow you to update your spreadsheet as students hand in work. If there's a student that hands it in late, you can refresh it to make sure you see it, and ultimately they send email feedback. So here we are in the student's piece of work. The one we've seen before, and if I click on the Goobric icon, it has a look around and it remembers the one we've just added, and it appears there. So what you can do is you can select, if you click within the boxes, you can select the level for each of the categories. There's also an option at the bottom, just showing you can get all of it. And there we go, I've selected good for effort on that particular one by clicking in the box. You can add a comment for the feedback, so I'm going to do that now. So once I've written the comment, I can select the level of the work. So for effort, I've gone for good. For literacy, I've gone for below expectation because there was some lack of capitalisation and some punctuation that needs to be improved. And mathematical understanding is good. They've interpreted the graph correctly, and the commentary relates to the race. So I've also added some comments within the document, so it's just worth adding a little comment to make sure that they look at those. And then we're ready to submit and into the document. There's a box there where you can send it straight to the student, or you may want to wait until you do that in Doctopus. Okay, let's put it in the document. Nice little time-saving tool coming up where you can click next and go to the very next student. There's a time saver in itself. Okay, so if we have a look to the right hand side, you'll see that all that information has gone into the spreadsheet. So there, for Google Classroom users who wanted a Markbook, there it is. You can also add a grade. In the UK we've got letters, soon to change the numbers actually, and you can also provide a little bit of more written feedback. So we'll just have a look at the send feedback email. There's some pre-populated stuff, and you can change the email around to phrase it in the way you want so that it sends it to the right people, and you can make reference to all of the different columns by putting a $ in front of the column header in your email, and then they can get it back. So nice integration of setting a task in Google Classroom and getting an attached Markbook out of Doctopus. So formative assessment and classroom can go together. thank you very much for your time. I hope that was useful.